This video will continue with entering capital cost allowance on a business or rental statement. I'm going to talk about in this video if there's more than one rental or business, how it looks in profile and how you can access different forms. Let's go to profile. I'm in a return now. It's 2021, but the profile's designed the same and implemented the same in every year. If I look at the tabs up here for what's open, it's kind of confusing to see what's here. I can see here there's a T776 number 1, but there's CCA summary. Well, this one's 776. So it is kind of confusing to see if you have more than one business or rental, what is actually in the file. So what I can do is I can go to Form Explorer, and there's a form, it's a self-employed form, and it shows me there's two businesses here. There could be others, so any self-employment income's here. And if I go to Form Explorer again, there's this rental summary. So what this is telling me is I have two businesses and I have a rental. These are handy because it helps me keep track, so especially if you have 6 or 7 rentals, they'll all be listed here and I can access them from the rental form. Same thing if there's more than one business. They're summarized here so I can have a look at what the totals were, gross and net income, same as on the rental. How does this help me with CCA in a return? Well, I've got this now open and I want to add an asset to business number 1. If I go to search, I can search for business number 1, and it does tell me that this is business 1, so I can do it that way. And then I can go for assets, and this gives me assets for number 1 and number 2. There's an asset list for number 1, and there's an asset list for number 2. So, okay, that's great. This is asset list for business number 1. This is what I wanted. I wanted to add an asset. So the calculations are on this form, and any additions and dispositions are made on this form. Okay, so I've got an asset here, but I want to enter another one. So I can just scroll over and say more equipment. I'm going to put it in class 10, let's say 8. And it was bought during the tax year. And I'll just say it was $500. Okay, and now I can go back and the calculations are here on T21 25 CCA. That's great. That's what I wanted, I think, but what I can't go back to the actual 2125. So if I go the other way and then click here, it'll take me to the 2125. I've got the asset here. But what I like to do is make sure it's being calculated the way I would think. So I can right click, go to the summary, and I can see that looks good, and then I can continue on and go to here, equipment during the year. That's the one I just entered. Now I got 2 that I entered in the year. Now this gives me the ability to go back to the actual 2125 CCA summary for this business. And I know this is the one that I just entered on because I got to this form by going through the business statement. And there we are. We had the 2 additions. I entered the 12,000 and the 500. And now if I want to go back, I can see you should have 5750 of CCA for the year. That all makes sense to me. And I can go back, and there it is on line 9936. So there's a couple of ways of accessing the CCA screens. You can do it right from Form Explorer like I showed, and you can also do it through the self-employed and picking the actual business you want, and there was also the rental. And if I wanted to add a rental asset, I can do the same thing. And we can scroll down. And of course, on the rental, it's the same line, 9936. And then I can right click and same idea. I can go through, and then this takes me, if I right click again, takes me to the T776 CCA. So this is a couple of ways I can track a return. And like I was saying, if I go through here, This one's not so bad because there's only one rental, and I can be sure that I'll be entering it on the right one. So a couple of ways to access the CCA forms, and this one gives you a couple of options to help you review and add CCA if you have multiple business forms and or rental forms. Hope you found this video helpful. And if you want more support options, you can go to our website. It's profile.intuit.ca. And then there is a menu item for support, and you can look for the community, webinars, other things there.